This morning we're at the Scottish Cafe and Restaurant, which is part of the National Galleries complex in central Edinburgh, and I'm joined by Contini, who's one of the key movers and shakers in the food and drink industry here in Edinburgh. Contini has quite a significant footprint here in the city in terms of restaurants and venues. Do you want to explain a little bit more for those people who don't know the Edinburgh food and drink scene, what it is you're actually, what you present here in the city?
Well, today we're in the Scottish Cafe and Restaurant, which is our beautiful sort of Scottish celebration restaurant. We started, my husband and I, Victor, we started 17 years ago at George Street, where our restaurant, Contini George Street, celebrates everything to do with Italy. So that's taking our Italian heritage, we import our produce, we import our beautiful Amalfi lemons from Italy, so it's got a very different character and a different personality to where we are today at Scottish Cafe, which is 100% Scottish. And then we have our other restaurant up at Castle Hill, Cannonball Restaurant and Bar, where the Tattoo, the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, they own the building, so it's a 4-storey, 16th century building in the heart of the old town of Edinburgh. It's amazing. And we run a restaurant there, Cannonball and Bar, whisky bar. We've got over 150 different whiskies. So we're representing Scotland in 2 of our venues, Italy on George Street, which by chance was a Florentine palazzo that was the Bank of Scotland building, the original Bank of Scotland building for George Street when the new town was built. So we're touching on the heritage of the city from the old town to the new town, and then here, obviously, with the most beautiful gardens and some iconic city landscapes in the background.
Excellent. As the Italian Scots here in Edinburgh and in Scotland, what was it that influenced your family to move from Italy in the first instance to Edinburgh?
Well, my grandmother was actually born in London in the late 1880s, so she had come over her family had come over to London, to England, probably on the hope of going to America, as many of their sort of family members had done. But they never got that far.
Right.
And then she went back to Italy, back to the same village where she was born and where my grandfather was born. And they fell in love apparently over the village square. Didn't know they were first cousins.
I love these stories. Wow.
And then they got married, and then by 1919 my father was born, and then they were over to Scotland, came over to Scotland, partly because of, the First World War was obviously catastrophic for so many people, so many families. Central Europe, Italy was completely, sort of devastated economically at that stage, and I think they were just really, really tired of the risk of not being able to look after their families. So it was that hope of a new start, a new journey, something exciting. They'd lived happily in that village for 6, 7, probably 1,000 years. The church records go back by 500 years, showing the family hadn't moved, which is a very similar story, I suppose, to many Scottish families around in the rural coastal areas and towns. So, I think they sort of came to Scotland, ended up in Edinburgh, because they felt that people were very similar. They were communities, they were families, they were integrated. They thought the food was really good. Obviously, they had a natural larder of shellfish, which they'd never had before, game, all of those wonderful. Butter was a part of their food culture, so that was exciting. And then, of course, the weather. The weather wasn't as good as Italy, obviously, but where we come from, actually, up in the mountains, it's the highest peak is 3,000 feet above sea level, so it isn't, it gets hot, but there's snow, so I think there was lots of similarities, and they really were made to feel at home, which
they've stayed and obviously flourished here in the city. And were they always involved in the hospitality and catering industry when they came to Edinburgh?
Well, there were farmers in Italy, so they were sheep farmers, they had some goats, so they made cheese, and they bartered that, so food was obviously key. They had a small holding, they made olive oil, so food was obviously fundamental to them. And then when they came over here, my grandfather ended up in Contini, tiny little village 10 miles from Edinburgh, fish and chips, staple, so classic for all these Italian families all the way around the coast. You know, there really isn't a village that wasn't affected positively, hopefully, by the influence of an Italian family arriving, selling fish and chips, making ice cream, something that they probably brought over, these skills that they found or had been shared from other family members, and then making coffee, you know, a cappuccino. All these things that we take for granted. You know, we think a cappuccino is an American, you know, sort of addition, you know, that sort of Starbucks world. But actually, it was happening a very long time beforehand. So we were opening cafes that were accessible to the communities, and it's something that Victor's family had also done at Easter Road. So they had a cafe called Tiffin in Easter Road, which was frequented by all the hip players. But it was the same formula, you know, coffee, ice cream, fish and chips, and hopefully happy memories.
I was really delighted to see the Scottish Cafe and Restaurant reopen last month.
So were we.
It's been quite a significant refurbishment that had taken place here. And what do you think that's going to bring to the city for business events coming in to Edinburgh in the future?
Well, National Galleries are obviously spending a huge amount of money on making the accessibility to the gardens and to the gallery better. The new entrance will be open hopefully at the end of the month. Fabulous new shop, which will be a great place for the locals and the visitors to spend lots of money, hopefully, and then accessible through to the gallery. But for our space, we're now on one level. So if you had visited the Scottish Cafe before, you'll remember that we had multi-levels and we've done some work over the years. But we're now all on one level, which from an events point of view is fabulous. You know, we're able to seat over 200 guests. You know, our Kayleys are a big sellout every year for Burns, but the interior, we've celebrated, you know, some really contemporary Scottish designers. This is Mary Helena. She's a young Scottish third or fourth generation textile designer.
It's stunning, very striking.
It's velvet, it's so tactile, it's just delicious. And then you've got a little bit of Timber Species, an iconic Glasgow designer, and then we've got some of our Butte fabrics as well, using our Anta furniture. So we're as passionate about, you know, our sustainability for every aspect, whether it's our food, it's our interior, our waste management. But from an events point of view, this is going to be a real showcase with the new terrace, which is beautiful. You know, we were able to do the Virgin Fireworks event this year, and they used the terrace, and it's the first time actually we've had really good weather. Not that it rains in Scotland, really good weather, and that terrace is going to be a real gem.
Brilliant. So the Edinburgh food and drink scene, you've already said, is thriving, but how does Contini set itself apart from the competition here in the capital?
Well, we invest in our team hugely. You know, we've got 3 restaurants. There's only Victor and I, it's our name on every venue, so we spend as much of our time as possible on the floor. So we try and get all the background work done by admin people, and we are very much on the floor, but we invest in our team. Our team are the face of Contini in each of our restaurants. We call it the Victor Welcome. We want everybody to feel happy when they leave and when they come in. If we don't get it right, please tell us so we can fix it.
Yes.
And then we say the Carlo Cuddle, that was Victor's dad. And he was very appreciative of everything that he was blessed with in his life. And we equally reinforce all the time, you know, thank you for choosing our restaurant. We really appreciate it. As an independent family business, we're supporting many independent family businesses all the way through our chain, even back to Cockenzie, where we buy our smoked salmon for Cannibal for instance, or Uncle Roy's incredible mustards or edible flowers that we get from Moffat. So our purchase here or in any of the restaurants does filter down to a much wider community. And we try and share their story, because it's not just our story, it's a much bigger story. So hopefully that's how we keep our customers coming back. And sometimes we have 3 or 4 generations of customers over a course of a few days, which just makes us feel incredible. So our customers give us more back than we get from them. So it's a team effort.
Well, certainly from my perspective, having been a customer personally, but also with events, I can concur with it, that has been my experience, and I think it's a lovely touch when I come into one of the restaurants that yourself or Victor is probably there and will always remember me, and there'll be a handshake or a hug or whatever, and you know, I think that does make you stand out from other restaurants that I go to. So thanks very much, Karina.
Pleasure, thank you so much. It's been lovely. We're going to have some cake.